So I am with someone who is not only a Southern rock and rock icon and legend, but I am with someone who I feel is family, a Jersey brother. I haven't seen him in a long time. And it is just so great to see your face and hear that magical voice. I am talking about my buddy Rickey Medlocke from Lynyrd Skynyrd, and of course, Blackfoot fame. I played Fly Away last week, and it's so ironic we're doing this because I was thinking of you.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's
Uh-huh.
killer.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that I'm seeing the call letters and we're talking about Jersey and all that. Every time that we come back to Jersey, I think about I have a lot of memories there, and a lot of great memories. I mean, it was basically kind of like our second home. And, as a band, and we played a lot of great shows there, had a lot of, I'm telling you, I started trying to remember all the juke joints that we played around Jersey.
So many
And
great places. You were everywhere. I have a photo of me and you in the studio. I'm going to cut away to it for people that are watching the Zoom. And if you're listening exclusively on the air, go to the webpage and watch the Zoom and go to YouTube. It's me and you, and we're both wearing like these wild outfits. I have like black leather pants. It was probably 11 o'clock in the morning, and you're like lifting me up off the ground. And it was just such a fun memory of your visits to WDHA. Look, you used to come in and co-host the morning show on the air with us, which was super fun.
Yes. I remember there was at least one time that and I can't really recall who it was, but the morning show team that was there, they took a vacation. And I remember coming in and sitting in for 5 days.
You were there. Absolutely. I was there at that time. I was doing the middays. You were there sitting in for 5 days. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we loved it. And we loved it. Yeah.
I know that. I used to love, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I did that around the country a lot. And New Jersey, up in Michigan, up in let's see where else, Ohio,
rock places,
Springs,
rock towns, places that were rock towns where people had that grand appreciation of rock and roll. So let's start. Listen, the Skynyrd legacy will never go away for one simple reason. The fans will not let it go away. The fans want you guys. They need you guys. The catalog of songs, when you were in Jersey, the last tour that you guys were with us and did a show at PNC, I'll never forget, I had people that were first-time Lynyrd Skynyrd concert goers.
Right.
This is not one generation, not two generations, not three generations. We're getting into 4 and more generations of Lynyrd Skynyrd fans now. So this legacy is one that, when we look at bands, I'll say Southern rock bands, especially because there's that great fan base, whether you're Almonds or Molly Hatchet or Skynyrd, I think has that legacy of being that band that is everybody's band.
Well, here's what I attribute it to, Terrie. I attribute it to great songs. I think that a band will have a very long-lasting career, and I don't care who it is, even now. You've got to have great songs that people want to come out and constantly come back and hear. There's very few of us bands of our era that's still left. The Rolling Stones, AC/DC, us. I hear that Aerosmith now has decided that they're going to quit. There's very few bands anymore. But along with those bands comes decades and decades, generations of great songs. And I think that, as long as the fans really want to hear those songs, they're going to keep coming out. The generations will grow. I know that right now we are seeing at our shows, and this is no kidding. I mean, we're seeing 8 to 80. That's what we're seeing. And you know what? This tour that we've been on, the Sharp Dressed Simple Man tour with ZZ, the first leg of it last year was just overwhelming to where we wanted to do it again and again. So coming up, the end of July, going into August, we're doing the third leg of the Sharp Dressed Simple Man tour.
Yep.
And it's been incredible. The turnouts, the audiences. I mean, it's really packed and it's really great to see. So I really believe as long as you got great songs and the Skynyrd songs, you got to admit those Skynyrd songs are very iconic, and they'll be here a lot longer after I'm gone.
There is nothing like going to a Skynyrd show and hearing those songs live and feeling that feeling when you are there. We've also got Music Fest, which is not necessarily, in Jersey, but Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, easy traveling point on August 7th. And of course, the Sharp Dressed Simple Man tour is coming to Camden, and that date is Sunday, September 17th. So, I mean, look, your legacy, you are an icon in your own right, because the early days with Skynyrd, you were in 71, and then you left, and then Blackfoot. I look at Blackfoot and the legacy of Blackfoot. I mean, Blackfoot wasn't a band that put out 2 records. Blackfoot had like 11 albums. I mean, there's a catalog of amazing tunes there. I remember those first couple. It was like the Southern rock power trio of all time. Then you come back to Skynyrd in 1996. So, I mean, your legacy alone is just, did you look back on that body of work sometimes and just be like, holy crap, look at this?
Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm 17 in a 74-year-old body. You know what I mean?
That's always been you. You've always been 17.
But when I look back, on everything, and here's what's special about Jersey. The first time I joined Lynyrd Skynyrd, the band Blackfoot, we were living in Princeton, and that's when I connected with Ronnie and the guys and took the job as their drummer. And this was the formidable years. And, there's always been a lot of controversy, now here as of lately. When I didn't get inducted with the band at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a lot of people wondered why, and I guess what it come down to, the powers that be at the Rock Hall of Fame said that my tenure with the band in the beginning had not warranted me to be there. And so I look at something like that, Gary come out here about a year and a half before he passed. And I've got the video, and the video's out there circulating around, that the band had always considered me an original guy.
Absolutely.
So, I got to tell you, to be honest with you, my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is all the fans that show up.
Yeah.
That's my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And, whatever happens after that, hey, so be it. You know what I mean?
Well, the fans' decision really was the decision, I think, to keep the band going. So let me ask you a hard question. Were there times after losing Gary where you said, I can't imagine going on stage and being on stage and not having him next to me? Were there times where in your heart you didn't know if you could continue personally?
Well, when it happened, when it all went down, there had been times that Gary, several times, we would be on the bus, and at the time when he was getting to the point to where he was really struggling to be on the road, he was saying, I never want the band, to go by the wayside and the music just disappear along with myself and, the rest of the original guys. And, only to just be heard on the radio or just be heard by cover bands or whatever. So when it happened, Johnny and I talked, and we it was hard. It was a hard decision to do. But the one thing that was really powerful was that when it did happen and all the fans, had sent us, I mean, tens of thousands of stuff rolled in on the Skynyrd website and each one of our websites and Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. And the one deciding factor was the fans always said, please don't let this be the end of it. Mm-hmm. And so with that in mind, Johnny and I decided, hey, let's go to all the people that, is involved, the estates, and let's talk to them and let's see if we can't work it out to where we take the band out and we continue as Lynyrd Skynyrd, because Johnny and I felt, look, our time in the band, it is Lynyrd Skynyrd. Johnny, the original singer's little brother that's been there for, oh my God, since 87.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I've been back with the band, since 96, 28 going on 29 years now. And then 2.5 years in the very beginning. So my tenure is over 30 years with the band. So we felt like we could take the band, put it on the road. We got an incredible guitar player with us by the name of Damon Johnson.
We love Damon. Jersey loves Damon from Brother Kane days. I talked to Damon, recently with some Brother Kane shows and talked to him during the Skynyrd time. And Damon he is a gem, and he's also an awesome guy, somebody you would want to go on tour with because he's such a good dude.
I had known Damon since late 80s, early 90s. When Brother Kane's first record came out, he opened a couple of shows for Blackfoot at the time in Texas. And that's when I met Damon. And I've known Damon this whole time, watched him where his career went, right through Brother Kane into with Alice Cooper and with Thin Lizzy and with whomever. So when Gary decided that he pretty well much couldn't continue, Johnny called me and said, do you know anybody that could come in and really cop what Gary does, the licks that he plays, emulate Gary?
Yeah, that's a tall order, man. That is a tall order.
I said, I know one guy. And he said, who is it? I said, Damon Johnson. He goes, oh, why didn't I think of that? I went, that's what you got me for. Pardon me. I called Damon, caught him totally off guard. He was out in his yard doing yard work, and got him on the phone and explained to him what was going on. He got to work, and a couple of days later, we were in rehearsal for 3 days, and boom, we're on our first show.
Amazing.
So he's done phenomenal. The band continues. We're going to continue. We're looking forward to the rest of this year, all of 2025. And we're even talking about doing a new record right now.
I was going to ask you that. Record, that's amazing.
Well, we're talking about, there are at least 30 to 35, maybe 40 songs that we have that Gary was a part of. And we want to select a great portion of those and do a new record and have Gary, in some capacity he was involved. So in some capacity, he would still be involved in it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I can't think of a better gift for the fans after a 50-year legacy. All right. So you and me are talking about Southern rock. I think of you as an architect of that sound, for so long. And it's funny because I was in a store and there was a streaming service on, and I heard somebody say, "Oh, there's this new surgence of country rock, blah, 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 with all these artists coming out these days." And I'm thinking, no, 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 we've always known this. We've always known it's called Southern rock. It's not this new sort of resurgence. But what do you think about the sound with people like Blackberry Smoke and Jelly Roll and Hardy and all of the things that are, happening now in music? This is this new resurgence of this great, they call it, a new active rock radio sound. That's got to make you feel good as somebody who was an architect of this original sound.
Well, keep in mind that over the years, as years and years rolled, I'd seen a lot of country artists. They would be being interviewed, and they would say where, Skynyrd, Blackfoot, Southern bands had been a big influence on them. And so it's only a natural thing. I think younger country guys, the artists, draw their influence, from a band like Skynyrd or, whatever. And I think that's just a natural progression. They love it. They draw off of it. They're influenced by it. And I mean, we had Jelly Roll play the last show that Gary played with us was at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. We did a special night there at the Ryman, and that was his last show with us. Jelly Roll was on that show, and I got to tell you, it was a very special night, magical night. It's up and available if people want to go check it out. It's available wherever you can get your, streaming films. But I got to tell you, Blackfoot, on the other hand, Johnny always joked and said that Blackfoot was probably the original Southern heavy metal band.
No doubt. Yeah.
And I never argued that, because Blackfoot drew all of its influences from, English bands, European bands.
Well, you were like a Southern rock David Lee Roth to me when you first came out, because you were so charismatic on stage. You weren't the guy that was just standing there singing. You were a very charismatic, energetic, dare I say it, kind of sexually charged front man out there, Rickey. You know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my whole persona and my whole thing was to relate to the audience, make the audience feel like they were on stage.
Yep.
Like I was with them, pulling them up there, and no matter what the talk was. And I mean, I did some outlandish talking, no doubt. And you know what? I tried to bring to a show where people would leave saying, "Wow, man, I had a great time. I love the music." And that's what I did. You know what I mean? And even with Skynyrd right now, even though I'm not singing and being the front man, with Skynyrd as a guitarist, I still try to bring that energy and that, that charismatic thing that people can really get next to. And you know what? I love to watch the younger adults. I love to watch the kids here. And I've told this story. Recently, we played a show, and there was about 8, 9-year-old kid at the barricade. Honey, he played every single solitary rhythm and lead that I played through every song, air guitar. He was right with me.
That's amazing. Amazing.
All the way through Freebird.
What does that feel like? That has got to be, on a day that you're having a tough day or a tough travel day or whatever, you see that and all is right in the world.
I want to hand him the guitar and have him play it.
I love that. I love that. Let me ask you too, because I wanted, now that I have you, I mean, geez, we're catching up on so much. There's so much to catch up on. I still love every time Showtime runs the 2018 documentary, If I Leave Here Tomorrow, the Skynyrd film. Yeah. And it's available to stream. You can go on YouTube, but Showtime still replays it. I watched it. I was like in front of the TV, when it premiered. Did you love it as much as the fans loved it. I thought it was a beautiful love letter to the fans.
It was beautiful because I got to tell you, it gave Gary an opportunity to tell his side.
Yep.
There had been so many films as such that had been put out that excluded Gary, you know, from having any comments or, you know, telling his side. And I was happy that he was able to tell his side of the whole thing and show the history from his point of view. I was glad I got to sit on my parents' front porch and show where Gary and Alan and Ronnie would come over and sit on the porch with my old man and listen to him play the blues, and kind of where the influence of Curtis Lowe went. You know what I mean? So I enjoyed that documentary. It was very enjoyable to me, and I hope everybody at some point, if you haven't seen it, you need to check it out and really watch it.
Some of that footage is mind blowing. And every time I watch it, it's emotional. You get chills.
Oh, yeah.
You just get that emotion through your body. It was just so well done. So well done. And I'm so glad I got your take on it. And just so many exciting things happening. I mean, Skynyrd killing it on the road, the Sharp Dress Simple Man tour. I mean, what a perfect combination. The Camden date is Sunday, September 17th. You guys are going to be at Music Fest in PA. Rickey Medlocke, I love you. And I'm so thrilled that we got the opportunity to reconnect and hang out a little bit. It's been long overdue. Jersey loves you. I'm still getting Blackfoot requests all the time. Everybody still wants to hear Trade and Highway Song and Fly Away. And I mean, those records are still in our wall. And you're such a part of who we are.
You know what you got to do? You got to check out a song that I released in January called Never Run Out of Road.
Yes. Oh,
and,
yes.
I did it on my own. And it's to benefit the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center for missing and murdered Indigenous women. A Native American thing, which is really close to my heart, being Native. And you got to check it out. It's called Never Run Out of Road.
Rickey, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to catch up with you. Be safe on the road. We will see you in New Jersey, not too far down the line. And always just an honor to have you on the show, my friend.
It's beautiful to see you, Terrie. You take good care.
Mwah! I want to hug in person next time. We got to relive that photo from 19 blah, 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 blah.
There you go.